Greetings, everybody. How are you doing today? It is May 22nd, 2025, and you are tuned in now to House Calls with your man, Dr. Rory T. Edwards. I want to say that please excuse me. Last week I did not provide on House Calls because, for those who know my schedule, it is tournament season, and so I'm traveling a lot in different states, putting together with a great group of individuals, some youth basketball tournaments. So these house calls will hopefully continue, but they will be on a shorter narrative because I won't have access to a place to be quiet and sit down and discuss topics. But we're going to try to continue and keep going. Hope everybody's doing well today, and I hope that you are living the life and your life on purpose. But want to talk today about the topic we're going to talk about. It's called low-hanging fruit versus climbing for the ripe fruit. Now, for those who are historians and those who have a little bit of maturity in their life, we know historically the low-hanging fruit terminology was once a very disrespectful word used because the low-hanging fruit was referred to the individuals who were hung during slavery and after slavery into the Jim Crow era. So that was a term, and there was some songs made by, the low-hanging fruit. But today we're going to talk about not fruit. We're going to talk about choices. And so, because some of us have built our lives around picking what's easy, while others are built to climb. That's just facts. You can't get mad at people who are built to climb when you have taken the path of least resistance. And why do I say that sometimes the low-hanging fruit could also have negative effects? And I want to share a story that I think is really, really valuable to this, because I used to teach middle school history. And one time, the school that I was teaching at, we went on a trip to an apple orchard. And we sort of made it a competition about the kids that got the best apples and the kids that got the most ripest apples and the kids who would do things a little bit different to fill up their basket. And so I recall one student early into the game had a whole basket full of apples. And I asked him, I said, how did you get so many apples? And he said, oh, I was climbing a tree and I was throwing them down to the other person and we filled our basket up. And I was like, wow, that's a great initiative, great ingenuity to think of a different way, teamwork would think of a way to get these apples. But come to find out, he was picking the apples. Long story short, he's picking the apples off the ground. And so as we continued on for about an hour, when we got back to his apples, all of his apples were rotten, or they were starting to decay. And he was wondering, what's going on? Why are my apples starting to decay? And I said, because sometimes the low-hanging fruit is the most accessible. It's easy to get to. And so those are the ones that the things that invade the fruit, the insects and other things, that's the ones they get because it's easy. The ones on the ground they can get to. A lot of things crawl on the ground. They can get to the apples. And so that's what happens. So that's what we're talking about today. And what I want to tell people, in every season of life, there are two types of fruit. There are the low-hanging and there are the ripe. So in your life and in your season, are you really trying to get to the low-hanging fruit or trying to get to the ripe fruit? So let me tell you, I have definitions that I want to define what the low-hanging fruit is and what it represents, and then what the ripe fruit represents. So the low-hanging fruit represents the opportunities that are easy to grab, the shortcuts, the bare minimum, the instant gratification. Does it sound like some things that are going on in your life? It's comfortable. It requires little effort, and for some, it seems like enough. But what happens when the fruit doesn't satisfy your purpose? when the easy choice robs you of the greatness you're capable of. Now, a lot of times we may see something and we say, well, I'm going to cut through this way, or we may do something at the job and we may say that I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm going to go this way, or I'm not going to provide everybody with what they need. Or you're in your walk, in your growth, and you say you're going to meditate every day, but you start to fall off and you don't meditate every day, and you wonder why you're not building or you're not growing. Is because you've taken the path of least resistance. You've chosen to pick the low-hanging fruit versus the ripe fruit. Now, let's talk about the ripe fruit. That sits high in the tree. That's the stuff that sits highest up on the tree. The good stuff. It's where your fullest potential lives, but it's harder to reach. You have to climb. You may slip. You may sweat. You may question if the effort is worth it. But when you reach it, you don't just feed your hunger, you nourish your legacy. And everybody knows that's what I talk about. I always talk about legacy. How do you build your legacy? You build your legacy by producing the most productive product and giving it and turning it over to those who come after you, or those who are incorporated in your presence. You give it to them. And that's what happens. Let me tell you what low-hanging fruit does. It feeds the moment, when climbing for ripe fruit feeds the mission. So, why is this house call to me important? Because this house calls for anyone who has been settling too long. There's too many people. I see too many people who are settling. They complain about what the government's is doing, and they complain about their job. They complain about they can't find the right mate. They complain about their car. They complain about their height. They complain about their weight. They complain about everything. They complain about getting old. But on that one, I'm going to guarantee you that if I was offered you a choice of death, you wouldn't complain about getting old anymore, because you don't know what's on the other side. But everybody wants to go to heaven, but everybody's afraid to die. Right? But let's talk about that. So, for those stuck in comfort zones, and for those who forget they were born to elevate, you were born to be the best you can possibly be. You were born to reach the highest heights of your existence. That's what you were born for. Not everything meant for you is at eye level. You may have to tilt your neck back to see things that are meant for you, that will give you the ambition, will give you the dedication, the commitment to reach higher. Even when you get to a state of where you think you retire, still look higher, reach higher, because the greatest thing that retirement gives you is an opportunity to create memories. So if you took your whole life and you spent 30, 40 years working for an organization and didn't understand that it's now time for you to work and to enjoy yourself, then you're not fulfilling your purpose. You're reaching and you're grabbing the low-hanging fruit. You're not going for the right fruit. Do you know how beautiful this world is? I still have so many places I want to see, and I encourage you all to do the same thing, because everything where you sit is not where you're supposed to be looking. There's an opportunity for you to create memories, and you should do that. And so some blessings that you want to receive require altitude. It requires you rising. It requires you getting up off the couch, taking that remote out your hand, going for a walk with the person that is most special to you. Walking your dog. Just going outside, sitting in the sun, absorbing some of that vitamin D that's going to give you the energy that you need to move forward. Now, what are some things you can do? Because, in the Roy T. Edwards group, what we do is when we talk about solutions to situations. We don't talk about what the problems are. We have to give you some things that are going to give you the opportunity to grow. So what are some things that you can do? Right? Self-awareness checks, right? Are you constantly settling for what's easy? If you are, start doing some self-awareness checks. Ask what you really want. You don't have to ask somebody else what they want for you. Ask yourself, what do you want for yourself? If you want to go on a trip, you can go by yourself. There's so many places that you can go to have guided tours that you won't be by yourself, but you'll be by yourself. You don't need people to go every place with you. You don't need it. You can enjoy your own company, right? Even twins need to be apart from one another once in a while. Number two, some people they have fear of the climb. What's really stopping you from reaching higher? Fear, fatigue, or false beliefs? What's really stopping you from reaching higher? Fear, fatigue, or false beliefs, right? Climb. Take the journey. Look at your destination and create a plan of execution that's going to get you there. Number three, is it laziness versus developing a legacy? Are you building a moment or are you building an enterprise? What do you want people to say when you're no longer here? What do you want people to think about you when you're no longer here? Some people say, I won't care because I won't be here, but nobody will know about you. Nobody will know about you. Create legacy, create things that are that will last as long as life will last, that will be part of what you developed. So get out of being lazy and start developing a legacy, right? Number four, choosing growth. The climb strengthens you as much as the fruit rewards you. The climb strengthens you as much as the fruit rewards you. I don't have to say anything about that. That should be that's self-awareness right there. That's a check on self-awareness. And number five, accountability reminder. The view at the top is only earned by those willing to leave the ground. I always tell people, do you want to live like a pigeon or do you want to soar like an eagle? Because we know pigeons spend half of their day with their heads down looking for some nourishment, when an eagle spends half of his day soaring over a huge territory that is only occupied by his dominance because he chose to soar. Do the same thing. You choose to soar. So, in my closing thoughts, because again, I'm on my way to the airport. That's why I got on my gear. I'm getting my way to the airport to work at and supervise a youth tournament. But I want to just say in the closing thoughts, like I said, the metaphorical linkage revealing the chilling truth about this word is the black bodies once seen as the most accessible target for hatred, for profit, for punishment, and for the psychological control of the masses. And we know that as through the lynching, the modern manifestation of systematic injustice, the healthcare, housing, and education. But even though those obstacles are in our way, we need to get up. We need to soar. We need to reach for and go for the ripe fruit. We can no longer settle for the choices of the low-hanging fruit. You can't live first-class life picking fruit meant for beginners. It's time to lace up your shoes, your sneakers, whatever you're wearing. Stretch your reach and climb, because the sweetest fruit is waiting for the strongest version of you. The sweetest fruit is waiting for you. Are you willing to put in that effort and go get it? Start developing the best life for you. Make no excuses about why you can't do it. Because on the other side of why you can't do it, there is a why you should do it waiting for you to answer that question too. Don't say I can't. Say I can. Don't say I won't. Say I will. And I guarantee you that your life is going to change so much more. But if you're having difficulties really understanding why this is happening, we at the Rory T. Edwards Group can definitely help you navigate these difficult decisions, and we can help you navigate to reach your purpose on life. We definitely can do that. So you reach us at www.rorytedwards.com, and we can definitely help you get there. I know that for a fact. We have taken a lot of time and put in a lot of work to develop a plan that's going to help you as an individual, not just people who are suffering, because all of us need some guidance in our life, and we all need someone to help us navigate. That's why we all buy cars with navigation, and we got navigation on our phone, because we know we need direction. We know we need direction. All right? I want to say thank you to my cousin Darren Hudson for checking in, and to other viewers. And thank you for your safe travel wishes. And we're going to hopefully be back next Thursday. If not, we're going to give you a short message on House Calls with Dr. Rory T. Edwards. But until we see each other and speak again, I want you all to be well, and I want you all to reach and climb for the right fruit. Ashe.